I'm here today to talk about the fundamental point that there can be no lean success, at least high-level lean success, without lean accounting. And let me explain why that's true. First, it's important for all of us to acknowledge that accounting and finance are the lifeblood of the business. The business exists to make money. How we measure money and how we measure ourselves, how we take into account the money when we make decisions is pretty important. We are in the for-profit business for the most part in manufacturing. And so accounting has to be an important part of what we do. But by the same token, what that means is that how we do the accounting is awfully important. Now, traditional accounting has a couple of problems that lean accounting provides a solution for. Now, let me just talk about a couple of those. First one is just the sheer complexity of traditional accounting. GAAP-based accounting with all of its assignments and allocations and accruals, all of its standard costs, the ratios and the formulas. A lot of the principles that we apply, like the matching principle and its evil twin, full allocation of overheads, full absorption, all flowing back and forth from the P&L to the balance sheet, create a result that is almost indecipherable to people who are not steeped in accounting. If we're going to engage all the folks at all levels of the organization and all the nooks and crannies, people who are good at making things and designing things and selling things, and we're going to have them all be engaged in helping us to ultimately improve the financial performance of the business, then we got to get rid of all that complexity. We have to give them information that's clear, simple, straightforward. There's a reason Jean Cunningham's great book on lean accounting that she wrote with Ori Fiume is called Real Numbers, because that's what lean accounting is all about. There's a reason Brian Maskell's essential book on lean accounting called Practical Lean Accounting is called Practical, because we have to give people practical information. And my book, Simple Excellence, uses the word simple for a very good reason. It's got to be simple. It's not that people aren't smart enough to understand. It's that they've got a lot of other things that they do besides being accounting experts. We need to provide financial statements that are a whole lot like the budgets and financial statements people use to use their homes. And in that way, we can turn people who are great financial managers in their own household into great financial managers of the company. The second key, and perhaps more fundamental reason, is that lean accounting is structured differently. Lean accounting is structured along value streams about how we create value from the customer. It's pulling together all of the costs and the resources and the revenues from supplier to customer. And it's helping us take a look at what are we spending to create value and what are we spending money on that's not creating value, and what resources are being deployed in that overall cross-company effort to create superior value for customers. We have to pull together the numbers in that manner, and we have to pull together the people who work along that value stream in order to look at that and optimize that value proposition to the customer relative to the amount that we're spending. This really forms the basis for how we empower people to make improvements, how we launch Kaizen events. All of the things that we do in the name of lean improvement need to be along that value creation line. And when we bury costs in silos, functionally that align with some hierarchical organization chart, we lose all of that. You can't really see what's connected to what, and how does it all create value for customers. And worst of all, it's awfully hard to ever see where we're better off spending an extra dollar over here in order to save $2 over here. That value stream structure that drives lean accounting is really essential to harnessing the power of lean to ultimately improve the financial performance of the business. And third, standard costs. And whether we call them that or not, anything that's taking the direct labor and the direct material and a bunch of allocated assigned overhead and saying that's the cost of something leads to very, very bad decisions for a couple of reasons. One, that a lot of those allocated overhead costs that often are a factor of 3, 4, 5, 6 times as much as the direct labor, often have very little to do with the product, have little to do with how we're creating value for the customer, are awfully hard for anybody to see what they can and should do about those. And most important, I think, with standard costing is the fact that it just jumbles fixed and variable expenses in a snapshot in time, and from that day forward tells you that's the cost. Whether you made $1,000, $1,200, $2,000, it's the same cost. Doesn't recognize the critical impact capacity has on the costs of the product and the costs of the business. And capacity is really at the heart of lean. Lean is not a cost-cutting strategy. Lean is a growth strategy. It's how do we free up more and more capacity? How do we get people to do less non-value-adding work? How do we get machines tied up less and less for setups and downtime? And free up that capacity in order to make more with the same resources and continually grow the business relative to the amount we're spending. And when we have a cost system that doesn't understand when we've freed up capacity and doesn't tell us about the value of that freed up capacity, then we're going to have a nearly impossible task of seeing the benefits of lean. Lean accounting is critical. And once you have made the step to start to transition your accounting system, at least your internal cost management portion of your accounting system, to lean accounting, you'll find that it opens up doors you had no idea were even there for the financial improvement of the company, for the growth of the company, and it actually turbocharges all of these lean efforts. And but without it, you're always going to struggle. That's the lesson for today. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more, or if we can be of any help, you can visit us at www.bill-waddell.com. Follow me on Twitter at mfgwaddell, or you can find us on Facebook.